hour, absolutely no comment from the mayor's office. Corey?
All right, so what are you hearing about a fundraiser last night?
Well, we know that Matt Allen attended a fundraiser last night at the Wren Center. It was to raise money for the Detroit Press Club and the Goodfellows. He was there till at least 9 o'clock, but it's what happened in the hours that followed that remains unclear. We should learn much more this afternoon when he is arraigned. Corey?
All right, Jill, thank you very much for that. Well, contract talks between Ford and the UAW went late into the night at Ford headquarters in Dearborn, and we're hearing that negotiators are getting very close to a deal. Joining us now to talk about the negotiations is Detroit Free Press business writer Sarah Webster. Sarah, thanks for joining us. And how close is close?
Well, we've been reporting all week at the Free Press that we expect a deal by this week's end. The fact that the negotiators were at the table all night last night, they didn't go home to get any rest, you know, it really looks like they're very close. Okay, and certainly a lot of good signs are out there that we are close. What are the issues that are holding it up? Job security has been the #1 issue for many of these workers. At Chrysler, it was a big issue. It's going to be a big issue at Ford. Everyone knows they're looking to downsize, so people want some guarantees about how they're going to do that, what plants are going to stay open, whether those plants are going to have future products to build, so that they feel secure that the plants that remain open will stay open. And do you think the deal that workers are going to end up voting on, do you think that is going to be shaped and affected by the reaction to these massive cuts at Chrysler, or do you think the tandem deal is going to be the same thing that would have come out regardless? Absolutely. It could go one of two ways. You could look at it as though the workers, seeing what happened at Chrysler, are going to demand even firmer guarantees about job security, or they might look at what happened at Chrysler and say, you know, times are really tough. We better pass whatever deal they send our way. So I do think it'll have an impact, but it could go, could be read a couple different ways by the workers. Okay, but even before it gets to the workers, do you think that the deal is being shaped by what people are saying right now and by the reaction? I think that Ford came in knowing what they needed to get out of this deal, and I think the UAW is largely, the leadership is largely sympathetic to what Ford needs to survive for the next 4 years. So I think that that things haven't changed really materially in the last few months. The only thing maybe that has changed is the economic conditions seem to be worsening on a macroeconomic scale across the country. I mean, what we're seeing is, you know, this housing crisis has worsened, the U.S. dollar keeps falling, food and gas prices are rising. People are very concerned about the whole year of 08. A lot of people have downgraded their sales projections for the next year. So I would expect that that's factoring into kind of a more gloomy forecast for the next year and what capacity the automakers need. They just need as many plants to build cars and trucks if people aren't going to buy them. Yeah, it seems like there's bad news everywhere you look, Sarah. Thanks so much. You're welcome. All right, so here's a look at how the Big Three did in October. GM sales rose for the third straight month at 3%. But Chrysler, not nearly as successful. In fact, their sales down 9%, while Ford had a similar decline, down more than 9%, which means it's just behind Toyota in sales. Be sure to stay tuned to Local 4 for continuing coverage of the contract negotiations. As soon as there's a deal, you'll see it here on Local 4 News and also read it on clickondetroit.com. No information in about that possible measles outbreak in Ann Arbor. 9 elementary students came down with a rash during the month of October, but now the Washtenaw County Public Health Department has confirmed the illness was not measles after all. But here's the issue. Officials still don't know what caused the rash and fever. They've requested additional testing from the Centers for Disease Control. The votes are in and Congress has passed a new S-chip bill, but it is not a done deal just yet. The bill would provide health insurance to an additional 4 million children whose families earn too much to qualify for Medicaid but too little to afford private insurance. Also, funding for the $35 billion bill would be raised through increased tobacco taxes. But here is really the big hurdle for this thing. President Bush, he vetoed the first version of the S-chip bill, and he has already threatened to do the same to this version. This noon, be on the lookout for a man who managed to escape from a sheriff's department prisoner van. Take a close look at this guy, 26-year-old Shiloh Joseph. He was last seen running along the Southfield Expressway near Schoolcraft. Joseph was wearing a dark ball cap, black leather jacket, and shackles when he escaped Thursday morning. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Well, it's just about that time to turn the clocks back to end daylight saving time. That means it's also time to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. The Detroit Fire Department is busy this morning doing just that.
Firefighters went door to door installing detectors and changing batteries for families in northeast Detroit. For the first time in 20 years, the union representing Hollywood writers has approved a strike. The union will decide today when that strike will begin. Some writers say it could happen as early as Sunday.